She's a Hollywood actress who seemed to have it all: beauty, wealth, and opportunity. But beneath the surface, there was a very different Andrea Logan White. Hello and welcome to A Spirited Debate. I'm Lauren Green. Her movie credits include Mom's Night Out and Do You Believe? But underneath Andrea's facade was an insecure woman who felt at times worthless, useless, and insignificant. But then she says, through God's grace, she realized that God could use her imperfections as an example to others to help transform their lives. Andrea writes about her journey, warts and all, in her new book, Perfectly Unfinished. Hollywood actress discovers God's redemptive healing through brokenness. And Andrea joins me now. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, it's so interesting because when did you realize that your striving for perfection was really part of your brokenness?
Well, it was many years of hitting rock bottom and feeling like I just could never measure up. Even as a kid, there was somebody who was better at ballet than me. And then as an athlete, there was somebody better at volleyball. And then, you know, it's just the self-worth was really something that I fought as a child. And I grew up in a home that I had no affirmation. So I felt like something was wrong with me from little on.
Yeah, you know, but what happened to change that? I mean, like, what did you go through?
Well, I went through a horrific eating disorder, came near death. I was under 80 pounds, and that was my senior year in high school going into college. And so I was hospitalized for a short time near death and realizing that when I looked in the mirror, I saw a fat person. And so I was like, I think I have a problem. But I was a feisty person that didn't want to admit it and got better well enough to go to college, but the story didn't end there.
But acting and modeling, was that part of, you know, your striving for perfection?
Absolutely. I think we're all given this desire to be loved, and we all want attention. God gives us that desire, but we oftentimes, as humans, we search for that attention outside, and oftentimes in the wrong places.
Mm-hmm. You know, and I have to ask you this question because this is what's in the news today about the sexual harassment in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. I mean, had you been witness to anything like that, or had you actually even suffered from it?
Yeah, I actually dealt with it. I moved to Hollywood the day after I turned 20, and this crowd that I was surrounded by compromised, and so I kind of fell into that. And I had agents and managers, and a manager dropped me because I wouldn't. Yes, I don't know.
Because you wouldn't.
Because I wouldn't. Yes.
Yes.
And I had multiple occasions when there was some things where I was asked to compromise, and you know, I didn't, and but it was normal back then. It was normal and everybody did it. And so I think now that it's all coming out, nowadays it's a different thing, and we need to share it. We need to be open, and I think it happened a lot more than people are afraid to admit.
What happened when you actually finally decided that something has to change? What happened?
With my life?
Yes.
Well, I was pursuing acting. I not only was close to death with an eating disorder, I was looking for love in all the wrong places, and I couldn't make ends meet, couldn't pay my rent, couldn't book a job to save my life that could actually support myself. I was dating multiple men and had a near overdose from a drug experience that, again, it was the crowd that I was in. That's why I'm so passionate about my story, is because you have to be careful who you surround yourself with.
Right.
And I just realized that I'm persevering, I'm determined, I didn't want to give up, but I knew that the way that I was living my life was not working, and if I was either going to die or I needed to start living a different way.
You had some time at the Playboy Mansion, too. I mean,
that was my introduction to Hollywood. So that, to me, was normal. I thought everybody ran around half naked, and that was normal. And, and Hugh Hefner's girlfriend would happen to be my roommate. That's how I kind of walked into that crowd. So it was amazing to look back. I was a deer in headlights, but that was normal to me. So that was my introduction, and it was eye-opening, that's for sure.
But things really, really turned around for you. And what would be the advice you would give to young women today?
One, you don't have to compromise. Don't compromise your morals and your values. And obviously, I found my faith by hitting rock bottom, but you don't have to compromise, even if you have to work a few jobs. But you don't have to compromise. You are enough. God made you for a purpose. And you don't have to be somebody that you're not, because you can't miss God's plan. And I think we're so afraid. We do things out of fear. We're afraid that we're going to miss the boat. We're afraid that if I don't do this, I'm not going to get the role and I'm not going to get ahead. That's a lie. And you are talented enough, and you don't have to compromise your values.
Why is the title Perfectly Unfinished? I think it's a very profound title, actually, but I want you to put the words in it.
Well, it's funny because it's something I've been searching for my whole life. because whether we're a Christian or we're finding faith or we're just trying to figure out our life as a wife, as a mother, and I just constantly felt like I was never enough, and I was fighting. I lived my entire life through the lens of perfectionism, and realized that I was never enough, even in my own eyes, and God's eyes, and anybody else's eyes, and I was miserable. And it's okay. And I think for years I ran away from my imperfections, my flaws. I wanted to appear perfect. I wanted to be perfect. And it wasn't until I embraced my imperfections that I started to really find healing and find freedom. And actually my career has opened up more, and just embracing my flaws and saying, listen, doesn't matter who you are, where you live, and what kind of money you make. We all have the same problems at the end of the day.
You're absolutely right. Well, I want to thank you so much. The book is called Perfectly Unfinished. Hollywood Actress Discovers God's Redemptive Healing Through Brokenness. And Andrea, thank you so much for being on A Spirited Debate. And also one note, check out the podcast, Lighthouse Faith, Moving Forward in Truth and Love. Andrea and I will delve deeper into her spiritual journey. Thanks for watching.